The Senate will come to order. The senators will please take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privileges of the floor will retire to the gallery. Good morning, senators. Good morning, guests. If you are able, senators and those in attendance, please stand. We will be led in prayer this morning by the Reverend Rick Raines of Fairmont Christian Church, Mechanicsville. Following the prayer, everyone will please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America by our Senate page, Sidney Wright of Fredericksburg.
Would you bow and pray with me? Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day of life, another day to serve you, serve this Commonwealth, and serve the communities in which we're blessed to live. Father, our invocation today is not an invitation for you to be in our midst. You already are and always will be. We invite you today to pour out your wisdom on this body, wisdom to deal with the complex and challenging issues of our day. We invite you to inspire us to aid and protect the downtrodden and most vulnerable in our towns and in our neighborhoods. We invite you to bring us to unity in securing life and liberty for each and every Virginian of all ages, from the youngest child in the womb to the most elderly among us. Father, I thank you for every person in this room, their example of sacrifice and service. I ask that you give each of them strength, protection, and clarity for the tasks that lie before them today. As always, Lord, guide and protect those who guard our freedoms, both here within our shores and abroad. Protect those who guard our homes and our streets day in and day out, and protect those who respond and run to danger in order to aid us in times of trouble. I offer my prayer this day in the name of my Savior Jesus. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The clerk will call the roll. All those present, please vote aye. The clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Madam President. Senate Journal for Friday, February 10th, 2023.
The senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw, moves that the reading of the journal be waived. All in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 3.
Ayes 37, noes 3. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the House of Delegates.
I do not have any, Madam President.
The clerk will report any communications from the governor.
I do not have any, Madam President.
Chair calls on the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move that we suspend the rules and grant the privileges of the floor to our special guests.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the privileges of the floor granted to a distinguished person? All those in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The rules are suspended. The privileges of the floor are granted. The chair recognizes the senator from James City County, Senator Norman, for the purpose of presenting the distinguished guest.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate and Madam President, over the years that I've had the privilege of serving in the Senate, I've had the opportunity to introduce many extraordinary Virginians, and I must say that the opportunity this afternoon really is the highlight of that opportunity to introduce great Virginians. Every year you are aware that we recognize the outstanding Virginian, and the individual that we are recognizing today has been a personal friend of mine for many years. He has been a colleague of mine on many commissions that we have worked on together, and also he is part of the Brotherhood from Virginia Military Institute. There are three things that Gil Minor loves and loves passionately: VMI, Richmond, Virginia, and the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I would like to share just a few comments with you. As many of you know, Gil Minor was the chairman and the president and CEO, and currently is the chairman emeritus of what is known as Owens Minor, Inc., and that is a Fortune 500 company that is based here in Richmond, Virginia. That is an extraordinary compliment in itself. He retired in 1955 as the chairman and chief executive officer, but what he continued to do was extraordinary. I don't know why I should be surprised that what he did was extraordinary, because he was a 1963 graduate of the Virginia Military Institute, where he learned to focus and accomplish things. He got an MBA from the Darden School of Business at the University of Virginia. His commitment to the Commonwealth of Virginia is actually legendary. He was chairman of the Board State Council of Higher Education, SCHEV as we know it. He was former chairman of the Virginia Business Higher Education Council. He was previously very involved in 2010 and years after, when we did a reformation of higher education in Virginia. He's been president of the VMI Board of Visitors, and he's been president of the VMI Foundation, which is the private fundraising arm. In addition to his focus on education, he has been very diversified and focused. He received the United Negro College Fund Flame Bearer in 1998, which is an extraordinary award. And also he has received the Thurgood Marshall College Fund Award of Excellence. So he has had a focus all across the spectrum of higher education in Virginia. He was inducted into the Greater Richmond Business Hall of Fame and has received many, many other awards. It is truly my privilege to be with him today. And as you know, there is always a committee that gets together and makes the award, and I would compliment them on the extraordinary job that you did this year. And accompanied behind me is Dean Solomon, who's on the committee. He is the Dean of the Batten School at the University of Virginia. Charlie Seelheimer, who is also with us, and he has been with us for many years. He's almost an institution as much as Gil. And John Adams, who, of course, many of you know from Bowman Adams Distillery. Most importantly of all, where is she? Charlotte, Gil's wife, is here. And Charlotte has been a community activist involvement for many years. I used to tease her when she was heading up some efforts for the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts. Every time I went to a dinner where she was there, they would seat her next to me, and she was a tireless advocate, and she's been a lifetime partner. So, Madam Clerk, if you would be so generous to read the resolution.
Senate Resolution Number 123, commending G. Gilmer Minor III. Whereas G. Gilmer Minor III, Chairman Emeritus of Owens & Minor Incorporated, and an accomplished leader in education, who has admirably served his community and the Commonwealth for many years, was presented the Outstanding Virginian Award in 2023. And whereas Gilmer Minor attended St. Christopher's School in Richmond, where he was co-captain of the football, basketball, and baseball teams his senior year, receiving all Metro honors in each sport. And whereas in 1963, Gilmer Minor graduated from Virginia Military Institute, VMI, with a bachelor's degree and went on to earn a master's degree in 1966 in business administration from the Darden School of Business at the University of Virginia. And whereas, while a student at VMI, Gilmer Minor was a standout athlete on the school's football and baseball teams, serving as co-captain of each team his senior year, and later earning an induction into the VMI Sports Hall of Fame for both sports. He also played basketball for the school in his freshman year. And whereas Gilmer Minor joined Owens & Minor, Inc., a global healthcare logistics company headquartered in Richmond in 1963, serving in sales, operations, and management roles until he was named President and Chief Operating Officer in 1981. And whereas Gilmer Minor continued to take on greater responsibility at Owens & Minor over the years, becoming Chief Executive Officer in 1984 and Chairman of the Board in 1994. He then gradually relinquished these responsibilities in the later part of his career, retiring as Chairman and Chief Executive Officer in 2005 and continuing as the non-executive chairman until he was named Chairman Emeritus in 2013. And whereas, under Gilmer Minor's leadership, Owens & Minor provided vital supply chain services nationally to healthcare providers, healthcare product manufacturers, and other entities, greatly supporting the health and well-being of countless individuals. And whereas, Gilmer Minor gave generously of his time to various civic, professional, educational, and charitable organizations, serving as chair of the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia and as member and chair of the Virginia Business Higher Education Council. And whereas, in 2010, Gilmer Minor was appointed by Governor Bob McDonnell to serve on the Governor's Commission on Higher Education Reform, Innovation, and Investment. His service in education also included terms on the Board of Governors of St. Christopher's School in Richmond and as president of both the VMI Board of Visitors and the VMI Foundation. And whereas, in recognition of his professional and civic accomplishments, Gilmer Minor has been honored with numerous accolades and awards over the years, including the Distinguished Service Award from the VMI Foundation in 2008, induction into the Junior Achievement of Central Virginia's Greater Richmond Business Hall of Fame in 2003, and the Flame Bearer of Education Award from the United Negro College Fund in 1998. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of Virginia that G. Gilmer Minor III hereby be commended on his selection as the Outstanding Virginian for 2023, and be it resolved further that the Clerk of the Senate prepare a copy of this resolution for presentation to G. Gilmer Minor III as an expression of the Senate of Virginia's appreciation for his contributions to the Commonwealth.
Please join me in the well of the Senate.
Madam President, I'd also like to ask the senator from Henrico, Senator Donovan, who worked with me on this, to join us.
Thank you. I didn't know I got all those things. Very good. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Look at that.
Senator, you... Mr. Minor, I can tell you in 1963 when you began your life, my dad began his in America. And it is so amazing that I stand here with this honor brought forward by the senator to hear of all the wonderful things that you did in supply chain of all things, the healthcare providers, manufacturers, but you didn't leave it at that. You are also credited with generously giving your time to various charities, and thank you so very much for that. I can say nothing else because you've done so much, and it is good that you're honored today. Thank you, Senator, and thank you for giving him to us. The Senate will temporarily be at ease. come to order. We are already into our morning hour, having had the privileges of the floor be extended to our distinguished guests. And so we will continue that, and what will happen is your senator will rise, and we will find out who all of you are in our gallery. After that, I will give my remarks, and if you will hold your applause until that time, then we'll get through this. And so with that, my very first person to call on is Senator McDougal, the senator from Hanover.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, in the gallery we have Reverend Rick Raines from Fairmount Baptist Church in Mechanicsville. Rick runs a tremendous church. He's a tremendous individual and brings sermons pretty much every Sunday that resonate with many people regardless of station in life, and I am very thankful that he's been willing to come and offer the prayer of the Senate today and to do so every week in Mechanicsville.
Please rise, Reverend. Thank you for coming, and thank you for that wonderful prayer. And what we know is that those in the faith community give so much of themselves to their local community and elsewhere. Thank you for being a part of that. Senators, let us give him the warm welcome of his Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Locke, the senator from Hampton.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. In the gallery, we have members of the Hampton Roads Committee of 200-plus men. The organization made its debut on September 21st, 1997, focusing on education, economic development, and community betterment. The 200-plus Men Incorporated has been engaging in a number of activities designed to inform, educate, honor, and advocate for issues that help strengthen the community. The organization works singularly and in tandem with individuals, groups, and governmental units to share goal efforts. Some of the programs the organization promotes are Brother to Brother Camp, Caravan to Richmond, the 200-plus Scholars Breakfast, and the Scholars Academy. This year, the organization will be celebrating 25 years of service in the Hampton Roads community. They are led today by several of their mentors, including Vice Mayor Jimmy Gray of Hampton. Please join me and members of the Hampton Roads delegation welcoming the Hampton Roads Committee of 200-plus men to the Senate.
Please rise. Oh, gentlemen, how handsome you look. Thank you for coming, and thank you for observing your Senate. This is your Senate, as you know. It's government of the people, by the people, and for the people, and we hope that one day you will be the people who are here. Continue your studies and continue to think about others as you lead. And senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes the senator from Lynchburg, Senator Peake.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. And what a momentous day it is today. Many of you might have noticed that for the first time, 3/4 of the way into session, the senator from Roanoke County was actually out here for the prayer and for the Pledge of Allegiance. And so some of us were back in the back wondering, oh my, what is going on with Senator from Roanoke County? And now I come into the gallery and I understand that he is posing for his family to pretend like he actually works here all day, every day. So we are really pleased to be visited today in the gallery by the senator's lovely wife, Ashley, and his 4 children, Dylan, Maria, and Laura Louise, who we favorably call L. Louise, and Daniel. So would you please welcome Senator Suderlines, obviously the best parts of his whole life, who are here visiting us today. Thank you, Madam President.
I wasn't going to ask you to stand, But you have, and what you're proving is that when the senators serve, the family also serves, and in fact, sacrifices as well. So thank you for giving him to us. Thank you, children. We're very proud of your dad. Chair recognizes Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, in the gallery today are 3 members of the Psychiatric Society of Virginia. Dr. Kara Beatty is the president of that society. We also have Dr. Sharon Moyden and Dr. Ahuma Njoku. I ask that you give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
We thank you for coming, and we thank you for what you do in the medical arena. Your skills are so sorely needed, especially at this time when it just seems that there's so much going on with our young people especially. Thank you for that. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Chase, the junior senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Today in the gallery, we have Mike, and I always try to get his last name right, Allers, who is with us today, visiting us from Greene County, Virginia. He has served as a police officer in Long Island for 5 years. It was cut short due to an injury, so he decided to go into the teaching profession. He has been an educator for 28 years, serving in Orange County as a 4th grade school teacher, and just recently retired, from my understanding. And he thinks he may want to run for state senate, and he's been shadowing to me today. So after shadowing me today, he may decide he doesn't want to do it. But anyway, it's an honor to have him today, and I'd ask you to give him the warm welcome of the Senate. Thank you.
We thank you for coming, Mr. Allers, and we thank you for what you've done in keeping our community safe, and we thank you now for educating our children. Thank you for continuing your service. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of his Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Peterson, senator from Fairfax City.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for 2 introductions.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate. Good afternoon, or as we might say in Korean, 안녕하십니까. We have a group here from the Republic of Korea, a distinguished group that are here for George Mason Korea. And let me give you a bit of background. George Mason Korea, or George Mason Daehakyo, as you might say in Korean, is a branch campus of George Mason University that we authorized in 2010 and that actually opened in 2014 and has almost 1,000 students between those that study at the Korean campus and those that come to the Fairfax campus, but has been very successful and is growing and was made possible by basically a grant that we were given by the city of Incheon that wanted us to come to Korea and start that campus. And so I'm very happy to have them here today. And we have in particular from the board, we have Hyun Lee and Harold Payan from the board. And then the president of George Mason, we would like to say Sajongnim, President Greg Washington of the George Mason University, if you could give them a warm welcome.
Please rise. Mr. President, board members, and others. Are we glad that there is yet another component of George Mason University, and we thank you for having that international component as well with the city of Incheon. You cannot have too much education, as you know. Thank you for that. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate.
And Madam President, if I might proceed to my next introduction.
The senator may say on.
We also have here in the gallery representatives of Massey Cancer Center. I'm just going to read this briefly. Massey Cancer Center is one of just 2 cancer centers in Virginia designated by the National Cancer Institute. It was the first in Virginia to receive the NCI designation, has had met that standard for 48 years. It is the most competitive position to be the NCI Comprehensive Cancer Center, which is the highest honor from the NCI. Massey treats cancer patients from every jurisdiction in Virginia and offers cancer prevention, early detection, survivorship program to individuals of all ages and socioeconomic circumstances. I have a litany of what they were able to do with their budget dollars. I'm going to skip that and just say they did a lot. Okay, they did a lot. They're proud to partner with the General Assembly to reduce Virginia's cancer burden, and we're particularly happy to partner with them tonight, because tonight we will be playing basketball against the body down the hall, and the reason behind the game, besides winning, is raising money for Massey Cancer Center. I have in my hand the roll of honor of those people that have donated. I have 25 names. That means 15 names are not on the roll of honor. Peek, I see you. I'm sorry, but not to name names. But the bottom line is, if you have not yet donated, please get me a check. I have decided, Madam President, this year to not be negative, but rather be positive. So rather than have the list of shame on my door, it will be the list of fame on my door for those people that have actually donated, to say thank you. But please come out to the game tonight. We're going to have fun. The governor's office will play the lobbyists at 7, and we will go on about 8. We will do some pregame calisthenics, probably a pep talk, certainly a pregame prayer. But the bottom line is we're going to have fun, and we are going to kick some butt tonight.
Please rise. Indeed, the gentleman is very earnest in all he continues to do every year about this time, in bending our elbows, in asking us to help with the donations. But what a good cause it is, and thank you for doing what you do. And with so many the technological advances especially, you, I think, perform minor miracles every day. Thank you. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes the senior senator from Richmond, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Joining us in the gallery and around the Capitol today are students from VCU's Student Government Association. They are here to lobby on a variety of issues spanning from higher education to harm reduction, and bring the perspectives of not only VCU students, but students across the Commonwealth. The SGA's mission is to create a brighter future for Virginia, and they hope that their progress here today will give them momentum for changing tomorrow and beyond that. And I ask that we give them a warm Senate welcome.
Please rise. We thank you for taking on such an important role in your school, the leaders in your school. And indeed, your voices are very necessary here. I do have to tell you that I was once in my Senate at ODU, and here I am today. So thank you for being a part of that. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Lewis, the senator from Accomack.
Madam President, rise for an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, members of the Senate visiting with us today, and I believe in the gallery, are members of the Eastern Shore of Virginia chapter of Virginia Organizing. The Eastern Shore chapter first began meeting in March of 2016 when 31 people attended a meeting at the Mary Nottingham Smith Cultural Center, and the group spent 2 years developing core development on leadership and work training and establishing connections and trust for each other. Over the past couple of years, the new chapter has hosted a dismantling racism workshop and a new member orientation, and most recently they have decided to work on the school-to-prison pipeline. They have created a comprehensive plan in their new campaign to engage the community, schools, and the school board in decreasing suspensions in both Accomack and Northampton counties. With that, Madam President, I wish you would join me in extending the warm welcome of the Senate to the Eastern Shore chapter of Virginia Organizing.
Wonderful. There you are. Thank you for being a part of the legislative process. Indeed, it is our civic duty to do so. Without it, where would we be? An informed electorate is exactly necessary. Senators, let's give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator McPike, the senator from Prince William.
Thank you, Madam President. Rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Joining us in the gallery today are members of the Cannabis Business Association of Virginia. Cannabis VA is a nonprofit trade association formed to advocate for the expansion and protection of Virginia's regulated hemp and cannabis industries. Its mission is to ensure that Virginia businesses have the opportunity to compete and thrive in these burgeoning markets while at the same time ensuring the highest quality, safest products are available to patients and consumers. Cannabis VA, you'll see later on tonight, they're hosting a reception at CNA at the Irish Pub from 6 to 8, so please considering go down to join them. And Madam President, I ask you to give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
Please rise. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for coming, and thank you for letting us hear all of the views on this product. And we hope that you will continue to show your faces and all of the senators in the House of Delegates. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Is there any other business to come for the morning hour? Hearing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
Senate calendar for Monday, February 13th, 2023. Uncontested calendar, House bills on third reading.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move that all House bills on third reading on the uncontested calendar, that's pages 1 through 25, House Bill 1385 through House Bill 2469, be advanced to their final passage in a block after the adoption of any amendments thereto. Any senator desiring to remove a bill from the block, please do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill.
The question is, shall House bills on the uncontested regular calendar, third reading, pages 1 through 25, House Bill 1385 through House Bill 2469, be placed upon their final passage in a block after the adoption of any amendments thereto, with the understanding that any senator desiring a bill removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. The clerk will read the number of the bills.
House Bill 1385, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1403, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1404, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1409, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1416, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Deeds, senator from Charlottesville.
Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1419, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1425, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1447, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, I move that committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1449, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1459, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1490, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1492, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1511, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Chair again recognizes Senator Lucas.
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, I move the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1514, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1517, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with a substitute, and we have 3 floor amendments.
Chair recognizes Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Sorovell.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to waive reading of the floor amendments.
The question is, shall the reading of the floor amendments be waived? Those in favor of waiving the reading will say aye. Those opposed, no. The reading of the floor amendment is waived. Senator Sorovell.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the floor amendment. Speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I forgot this was on the docket today, but this amendment basically narrows the scope of this. The senator from Rockingham came over to me and pointed out that the way this was drafted would apply to basically any service contract for anything involving a consumer, and that wasn't the intent of the patron. This narrows it down to just these continuous service contracts like Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that, which is what her intent was. And the patron considers it a friendly amendment. I would ask that we adopt the floor amendment.
The question is, shall the floor amendment be adopted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The floor amendment is adopted.
House Bill 1519, reported from the Committee on Education and General Laws and Technology. House Bill 1541, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with a substitute.
Chair again recognizes Senator Deeds.
Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1542, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 1554, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1555, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1573, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1575, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1581, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1590, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1592, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute, and we have 1 floor amendment.
Chair recognizes again Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to with the line amendment.
I'm sorry, Senator, with the okay, the substitute.
Yes.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Bell, the senator from Loudoun.
Thank you, Madam President. Waive readings on the floor amendment.
The question is, shall the reading of the floor amendment be waived? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The reading of the floor amendment is waived. Senator Bell.
Thank you, Madam President. Move that we pass the floor amendment and speak in the motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This is a fairly simple clarification in this bill. I spoke with the House patron, and I have the cognate for this bill in the Senate. And this is the one on the bill about bullying notification, reducing it from 5 to 1 days. And we wanted to clarify that the principal was responsible for making sure that someone at the school, the principal or someone else in administration, did the notification after they were aware of the incident. So this is a fairly easy amendment, just adds 2 words, learning of, so that they wouldn't be held responsible for that notification if they did, until they knew about it. With that, again, I renew the motion to pass the amendment.
The question is, shall the floor amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The floor amendment is agreed to.
House Bill 1602, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1627, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 1638, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1659, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1698, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1700, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1701, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1704, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Chair calls on Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1706, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1713, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1735, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Eben, the gentleman from Alexandria.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee amendment.
The question is, shall the committee amendment be adopted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is adopted.
House Bill 1737, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1792, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1822, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1836, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with amendments.
Chair recognizes Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville.
Madam President, I move that the committee amendments be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 1838, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1844, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 1908, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with amendments.
Chair recognizes again Senator Deeds.
Madam President, I move that the committee amendments be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 1916, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Chair again recognizes Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 1972, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1982, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1990, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1991, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 1993, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 1997, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senator from Roanoke County rise?
Can House Bill 1997 please come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 1997 is out of the block.
House Bill 2006, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 2007, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 2020, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 2105, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 2124, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 2128, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 2133, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 2140, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 2185, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 2187, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Senator Lucas.
Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to.
House Bill 2190, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Madam President, I'm sorry.
The junior senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. On page 21, could House Bill 2187 come out of the block? as well as on page 3, House Bill 1419, if that could come out of the block.
On page 3, 2119.
Thank you.
Did you say 1419 on page 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Without objection, House Bill 1419 and House Bill 2187 are out of the block.
House Bill 2190, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 2221, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 2225, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 2244, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 2274, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 2323, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 2343, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary. House Bill 2375, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 2394, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 2419, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Madam President.
Chair recognizes Senator Suline, the senator from Roanoke County.
Thank you, Madam President. Can House Bill 2419 please come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 2419 is out of the block.
House Bill 2429, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 2457, reported from the Committee on Education and Health, and we have a floor amendment.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator DeSteff.
Can HB 2457 on page 25 come out of the block and by for the day for purposes of another amendment?
Without objection, House Bill 2457 is out of the block and by for the day.
House Bill 2469, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
The question is, shall the House bills pass en bloc? That is, all bills except House bills 1419, page 3, 2187, page 21, 1997, page 18, House Bill 2419, page 24, and House Bill 2457 on page 25. All in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bills in the block pass.
On page 3, House Bill 1419.
Madam President.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Richmond, Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that House Bill 1419 pass. And speaking to that,
the senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill is identical to my Senate Bill 1498, which passed this body unanimously. It extends eligibility for the Brown versus Board of Education scholarships to the descendants of those who were shut out of schools when Virginia closed schools in 5 divisions during massive resistance, and I move that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. House Bill 1419 passes.
On page 18, House Bill 1997.
Chair recognizes Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I move the bill pass, and for explanation, I yield to the senator from Spotsylvania.
Chair recognizes the senator from Spotsylvania, Senator Reeves.
Speaking to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, members of the body, this is the exact same bill that we passed out of our chamber. It has to do with parimutuel betting or historical horse racing. And what this bill is designed to do is make sure that as we give those entities the slot machines that they have now, there was requirement of a certain number of horse racing days, live racing days that went along with that. This is going to ensure that those folks from HHR are doing a minimum of 100 with what we've given them so far, and I'd ask the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 4.
Ayes 36, noes 4. The bill passes.
On page 21, House Bill 2187.
Chair recognizes Senator Lucas, the gentlelady from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the bill pass.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pass it by for the day?
No, ma'am. It's just out of the block. So you'll have to explain the bill.
Could that go by for a moment?
Yes, ma'am. Without objection, House Bill 2187 is by temporarily.
On page 24, House Bill 2419.
Chair recognizes Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass. And speaking to that motion,
the senator has the floor.
This bill allows a small charity in Southwest Virginia, or actually a festival, to be able to engage in wagering in a small way for to purposes of the musical heritage of commemorating the 1927 Bristol Sessions. I move it pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 33, noes 7.
Ayes 33, noes 7. The bill passes.
Returning to page 21, House Bill 2187.
Chair recognizes Senator Favola, the senator from Arlington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the bill pass. And speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. What this bill does is it describes exactly what counseling activities are. It talks about consultation and collaboration and individual counseling and program planning, et cetera, and it also reiterates what's in current law, that school counselors should spend at least 80% of their staff time during normal work hours in the direct counseling of students. Once again, I ask that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 1.
Ayes 39, noes 1. The bill passes.
Regular calendar, House bills on third reading. House Bill 2334, a bill relating to sales and use tax exemption for oil and gas drilling equipment, reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Chair recognizes Senator Howell, the senator from northern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass. And speaking to that,
the senator has the floor.
This bill merely extends the exemption for this equipment from July 1st, 2022 to July 1st, 2023. It's the cognate of a bill we'd previously passed.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 28, noes 12.
Ayes 28, noes 12. The bill passes.
House Bill 1418, a bill relating to Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation, Real Estate Appraiser Board, Appraisal and Experience, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Chair recognizes Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
This bill includes in the qualifications for a professional real estate appraiser, people who engage in the principles, the practical applications of real estate appraisal experience training program, which is recognized and as a qualified appraiser.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill passes.
House Bill 1433, a bill relating to Counseling Compact, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Chair recognizes Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Yes, ma'am, Madam President. I needed to go by for temporarily.
Without objection, House Bill 1433 is by temporarily.
House Bill 1440, a bill relating to finding of guilt in absentia, proof of such finding in a civil action, reported from the Committee on the Judiciary.
Chair recognizes Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville.
Madam President, I didn't vote for this bill, and I don't intend to vote for it on the floor, but I will move that it pass. Right now, if you...
The senator has the floor.
Right now, if you have a car wreck, and that car wreck results in a civil action, somebody sues you, the only thing about your case in General District Court, or the only thing about the ticket, the plea that is admissible, is a plea of guilty. It's a finding. It's a statement against interest. If you don't put this, what this bill says is, if you don't show up for court and you're found guilty, that's also admissible.
Chair recognizes Senator Peterson, the senator from Fairfax City.
Thank you, Madam President. Speak to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, I did vote in favor, and here's why this is a good idea. Oftentimes, when you're the plaintiff or you're trying to recover from an insurance company, you need to show proof that there's liability from the other side. And you can do that if there was a summons issued and somebody showed up and pled guilty. Well, what happens if they didn't show up, or they just mailed in a check? Well, the brutal truth of it is, that's basically an admission of guilt also. All this does is say that can come into evidence in a civil case. So it's not going to convict anybody of anything. It just can be used as a piece of evidence in a civil case. If the driver wants to come and say, well, I mailed in a check, but I really wasn't liable for it, and here's why, he can always do that. But I think it's going to make life a little bit easier about people trying to recover money from insurance companies. Thanks.
Chair recognizes Senator Morrissey, the junior senator from Richmond.
Speaking to the measure, Madam President.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, you'll note from the records there that I voted yay. I was wrong. Senator D, this gentleman from Charlottesville, was correct. We're not in the business here of helping people collect money in civil damages. That's not our job. It's either an admission or it's not. They either said something in court that I committed this or I didn't, and for that reason, I hope that we'll put up more reds than greens. Thank you, Madam President.
Chair recognizes Senator Obenshain, the senator from Rockingham.
Madam President, speaking of the bill,
the senator has the floor.
I'm recorded as having voted yes, and I'm going to vote for it again on the floor. And let me just say that if you're found guilty of a crime, if it's a felony, it would be admissible against you in a court in a civil case. It would. A felony would be admissible, as would a misdemeanor involving moral turpitude, lying, cheating, or stealing. And that would be the case whether you showed up in court or not. It would be admissible. But in a case in which somebody is seeking to recover for an injury, if the person pled guilty to the underlying traffic charge, that's admissible. But if the person just doesn't show up in court, that ought to be, and is found guilty, that ought to be admissible too. It does not preclude that person from coming into court. And as we heard in committee, it may be that they were too busy. It may be that they were out of town. It may be that they were sick. They can come into court and say, look, I didn't know that this was going to happen. This is a traffic charge, and I didn't show up, but it wasn't my fault. But that's not what usually happens. What usually happens is they know it was their fault, and they just no-show and pay the fine. And then some lawyer hired by an insurance company comes in and goes, no. Let me explain it to you. You maybe weren't at fault, and here's why. So this simply says that your guilt finding is admissible. It's not binding, it doesn't render you liable, but it will be admissible whether it's a guilty plea or you are found guilty in absentia.
The gentleman yield for a question, Madam President.
Will the senator from Rockingham County yield?
Yes.
Gentleman yields. Senator Morrissey has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. The gentleman told the body a moment ago that if you're convicted of a felony, that felony comes into evidence. Isn't it true that the only thing that comes into evidence is that the defendant had previously been convicted of some felony and that you can't mention the felony that he was convicted of?
That's all right.
The gentleman yield for another
question. The gentleman yield for another question.
Sure.
The senator yields. Senator Morrissey has the floor.
But in this case, if the defendant failed to show up, under your theory, the plaintiff would be able to show that he didn't show up and was found guilty of that specific offense, correct?
Senator Obenshain.
That is correct.
The gentleman yield for a third question.
Will the gentleman yield for another question?
I will.
The senator yields. Senator Morrissey.
If the individual had shown up, had pled not guilty, and had been found guilty of a felony, would you also not agree that that felony conviction is not admissible?
Senator Obenshain.
Madam President, I think he's talking about a misdemeanor conviction or a traffic conviction involving a crash. And the gentleman, if I'm understanding his question, that would be accurate.
Senator Morrissey.
Would the gentleman yield for another question?
Another question, Senator.
I yield.
The senator yields. Senator Morrissey.
I would preface my question that that's not the scenario that I was talking about. I was talking about a situation where the defendant was charged with, say, for example, felony hit and run. Would the senator not agree that if he came into court, pled not guilty to felony hit and run, but was found guilty of felony hit and run, the plaintiff couldn't bring into evidence that he was found guilty of that specific felony, but only that in his history he had a felony conviction?
Senator Obenshain.
Madam President, I would answer that the answer to that question is not a simple yes or no. The answer to that question would be yes, the fact of a felony conviction would be admissible, and if that person testified in the underlying criminal case, the testimony from that case may be admissible as an admission against the interest or just a party admission. So, it very often is apparent what happened, but so it's that's the answer, the best of my ability to give it.
I thank the gentleman.
Chair recognizes Senator Spruill, the senator from northern Chesapeake.
Thank you, Madam President. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Madam President, I'm here listening to this thing. Listen to lawyers.
The senator has the floor.
I apologize. Thank you so much, Madam. I'm listening to lawyers talking, and I heard both sides. But, Madam, what I'm asking you, could you give me someone who is not a lawyer to explain this to me and tell me how to vote? Number one. If they are a lawyer, could you give me a lawyer who is for the little person? Because they are saying good things to me, and I'm saying to myself, they're talking about stuff to fund their pockets. So that's personal. So I'm really interested in this bill. It sounds good. And they all are talking good sense. But I don't understand it. So if someone who is not a lawyer, Madam President, could explain to me and tell me, vote this way. And if you're a lawyer, want someone who is for the little person. Thank you so much.
The chair will first recognizes a senator who is not a lawyer, not a barrister. Who wishes? Seeing none. Senator Reeves, the senator from Spotsylvania, takes the challenge.
Thank you, Madam President. Speaking to the senator's question.
The senator may continue.
As an insurance guy in this bill, it's going to allow a conviction, or if you pay that fine because you don't go to court, they're going to be able to use that when they subrogate against, I'll explain it like this, Senator, you get in a wreck. Something happens, citation was issued, maybe you got a citation. It's not a reckless driving, it's a simple accident, less than $1,000. You pay your fine, then whoever you hit comes back to you and says, no, he got a ticket. The mere fact that you paid the ticket, they can use that fine to show that you were guilty of the accident. Madam President, that's how I understand the bill.
Chair recognizes Senator Peake, the senator from Lynchburg.
Thank you, Madam President.
And it is noted, sir, he is the attorney.
And speaking to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you. First, I rise for several reasons. First, to admonish the junior senator from the city of Richmond for congratulating senator from Charlottesville for voting against the bill and not recognizing the senator of Lynchburg, who also was one of only 2 people who voted against the bill. Second, to address the senator from Northern Chesapeake's inquiry. We have now wasted 20 minutes talking about a bill that is going to have virtually zero effect on how civil litigation goes forth in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And that is all I have to say. Thank you.
Senator Sorovell, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be quick.
Listen, the senator has the floor.
You get in a car accident, the person gets out of the car and they say, it's my fault. That's admissible. They tell the police officer, it's my fault. That's admissible. If they walk into court and they say, it's my fault, in court, it's admissible. If they walk into court, they say, I'm guilty. That's admissible. The only thing the Supreme Court has said is not admissible is if you mail a check to the court, which, in my experience, 90% of the time is somebody saying, it's my fault, I just don't feel like coming because I don't want to waste 3 hours in the courthouse dealing with this. And if that's not what you meant, you can tell the court that. That's all this bill does. And I agree with Senator Peake, or the senator from Lynchburg, that it's not the bill of the century, but it is material and it is important. This comes up a lot in court because a lot of people prepay their offenses. They don't want to go and waste 3 hours in court for something they know they did and they know they're wrong. And this will just save a lot of people time in court. And to the senator from Chesapeake's question, you know, this isn't about us making money or whatever. We have clients who have problems, and this sort of simplifies it and saves us time in court and time fighting about things, which makes things better for everybody.
The question is, Chair recognizes Senator Bell, the gentleman from Loudoun.
Thank you, Madam President. Speaking of the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Boy, this sure ain't a bill I came in today wanting to speak about. Let me start off by saying that. I own a business. I'm not a lawyer. In my business, we have drivers, and we do background checks, and we look at their driving record. Many of them are busy people. They can't afford to go to court and spend the day. But if they just send in a check or pay their fine, they're probably going to be disqualified in our driver check because they've got an offense that shows a guilty on that wouldn't have been counted against them otherwise. I think this is going to hurt people, and I'm going to vote against it, and I hope many of you will as well.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 24, noes 16.
Ayes 24, no 16. The bill passes.
House Bill 1569, a bill relating to Virginia Freedom of Information Act, disclosure of personnel records.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senator from Roanoke County rise?
Thank you, Madam President. With apologies to the Chair, General Laws, could this go by for the day?
Without objection, House Bill 1569 goes by for the day.
House Bill 1610, a bill relating to Virginia Public Procurement Act, cooperative procurement, installation of playground equipment. Reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Chair again recognizes Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass, and speaking to that.
The senator has the floor.
Though I didn't vote for the bill, I've got the sponsors' points. The purpose of the bill was to enable localities to use cooperative procurement for agreements for planning, purchase, and installation of playground equipment. The sponsor maintained that the current procurement statute does not allow design and construction of playgrounds to be performed by the same entity. This change would streamline procurement for playgrounds and make the entire process from concept to planning to installation more efficient. Again, I renew the motion that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 26, noes 14.
Ayes 26, noes 14. The bill passes.
House Bill 1630.
Madam President.
Chair recognizes Senator McClellan, the senior senator from Richmond.
With apologies, having voted on the prevailing side by which we passed the bill we just passed, I move that it be reconsidered.
The question is, shall the vote by which it was passed on House Bill 1610 be reconsidered? Those in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill is reconsidered. Senator Eben.
Having previously explained HB 1610, I renew the motion that it pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 22, noes 18.
Ayes 22, noes 18. The bill passes.
House Bill 1633, a bill relating to Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation, Virginia Contractor Transaction Recovery Fund, Recovery Arbitration. Reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. Senator
Eben.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
HB 1633 addresses access to the Virginia Contractor Transaction Recovery Fund. For those familiar with the fund, you know that it helps customers who've incurred losses through improper or dishonest conduct by a licensed residential contractor. The fund is not supported by taxes, but rather supported entirely by assessments paid by licensed contractors. The issue this bill addresses is that it would include the growing number of residential contractors using mandatory arbitration clauses in their contracts. While mandatory arbitration has been around for a long time, It's now becoming more common in residential contracting, and unfortunately, most regular people don't realize this kind of clause may inadvertently lock them out from being able to access things like the recovery fund. HB 1633 solves that problem by providing access to the recovery fund if they have a positive judgment from a court or a positive judgment from an arbitrator. And I've been advised that the governor and DPOR support the bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill passes.
House Bill 1702, a bill relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, terms and conditions of rental agreement, rent increase notice. Reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HB 1702 pass.
The senator has the floor.
HB 1702 represents something rare in the General Laws and Technology Committee, which is near unanimity of all members of the committee except for Senator Stewart. The bill deals with giving tenants 60 days notice prior to the end of their term that there'll be an increase, and it was supported by an array of stakeholders, including the Apartment and Office Building Association, Virginia Realtors, Legal Aid Justice Center, Virginia Poverty Law Center, and Virginia Apartment Management Association. Renew my motion that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 24, no 16.
Ayes 24, no 16. The bill passes.
House Bill 2012, a bill relating to retired Supreme Court justices and Court of Appeals judges under recall, circuit courts. Reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Deeds, the senator from Charlottesville.
Madam President, I move that the committee substitute be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Deeds.
Madam President, I move the bill pass. This bill...
The senator has the floor.
I apologize. This bill simply allows retired justices of the Supreme Court and retired judges of the Court of Appeals who've been found qualified in the previous 3 years by the House Courts of Justice Committee and the Senate Judiciary Committee to be recalled to sit in cases in the circuit courts.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill passes.
House Bill 2071, a bill relating to persons other than ministers who may perform rites of marriage. Clerk, issuance of order, bond requirement. Reported from the Committee on the Judiciary with a substitute, and there is one floor amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Deeds.
Madam President, I move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator McClellan, the senior senator from Richmond.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we waive the reading of the floor amendment.
The question is, shall the reading of the floor amendment be waived? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The reading of the floor amendment is waived. Senator McClellan.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the floor amendment be agreed to. And speaking to that,
the senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. The underlying bill allows a circuit court clerk to provide an order recognizing an officiant or authorizing an officiant to a wedding who is not otherwise authorized. And Right now, only a judge can do it. What the underlying bill does is say that the clerk can issue that order. What the amendment does is there are certain officials, which include current and former General Assembly members, our statewide elected officials, who can perform wedding ceremonies without a court order. But what I found when officiating 2 weddings, that the form that the officiant fills out requires you to check when the date in the court where you were authorized to perform the wedding, and only because I went in with the code section and showed it to a clerk in both cases did they allow that form to be submitted without that being checked. And so what this amendment does is direct the state registrar who creates the forms, since they have to amend it anyway because of the underlying bill, to amend the form to clear up that problem.
The question is, shall the floor amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The floor amendment is agreed to. Senator Deeds.
Madam President, I move passage of the bill, and the senior senator from Richmond basically described the bill, the sum and substance of which is to pass approval of marriage officiants from judges to clerks of court. Again, I ask that you pass the bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 5.
Ayes 35, noes 5. The bill passes.
Returning to page 26, House Bill 1433.
Chair recognizes Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the bill pass. And speaking to that bill.
The senator has the floor.
Okay, Madam President, what HB 1433 does, it authorizes Virginia to become a signatory to the counseling compact. The compact permits eligible licensed professional counselors to practice in compact member states, provided that they are licensed in at least one member state. The bill has a delayed effect date of January 1, 2024, and directs the Board of Counseling to adopt emergency regulations to implement the provisions of the bill. The compact takes effect when it is enacted by a 10th member state. With that explanation, Madam President, I move that the bill pass. And just an additional piece of information, it is a companion bill to the senior senator from Chesterfield County, Senator Hashmi.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 34, noes 6.
Ayes 34, no 6. The bill passes.
Uncontested calendar, House bills on second reading.
Chair recognizes the senior senator from Fairfax County, Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move that all House bills on second reading on the uncontested and regular calendars, that's pages 28 through 38, and House Bill 1367 through House Bill 2487, that the rules be suspended and the second constitutional reading of the titles be dispensed with.
Senator Morrissey, the junior senator from Richmond. Your button is highlighted, sir.
I apologize, Madam President. Withdraw any request to speak.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles of House bills on both the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 28 through 38, House Bill 1376 through House Bill 2487, be dispensed with? All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move now that those said House bills go by for the day.
The question is, shall the House bills on both the uncontested and regular calendars now on their third reading go by for the day? Those in favor of that motion will record their will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills will go by for the day.
Uncontested calendar, House joint resolutions on second reading.
Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I move that all House joint resolutions on second reading on the uncontested calendar, it's pages 38 and 39, that's HJR 469 through HJR 565, that the rules be suspended and the second reading and the titles be waived.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles of the House joint resolutions on the uncontested calendar, pages 38 and 39, House Joint Resolution 469 through House Joint Resolution 565, be waived. Those in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The reading of the titles is waived. Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I now move that those House joint resolutions go by for the day.
The question is, shall the House joint resolutions on the uncontested calendar now on their third reading go by for the day? Those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolutions will go by for the day. Senator Saslaw.
Madam President, I inquire of the clerk, does that complete the calendar for today?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Chair recognizes Senator Cosgrove, the senior senator from Chesapeake.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a short point of personal privilege.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. I sure did. Yeah, well, anyway. I will tell you, though, what was really cool about the Super Bowl this year was the flyover. It was accomplished by 3 F-18, Navy F-18s, and 1 F-35 Sea Lightning. What's interesting about this particular formation, it was all female. All pilots and all weapons officers were female. And I was going to tell the senior senator from Fairfax that one of the weapons officers in an FA-18 Super Hornet was from Springfield, Virginia. And that was Lieutenant Naomi Ngale. And, they did a beautiful job flying over in a very tight formation. The other thing that's really interesting is that the majority of the flight crew on the ground and the plane captains, the ones that keep these things flyable and in the air, were female. And this is all because of the 50th anniversary of females in naval aviation. So on behalf of those of us who served in the United States Naval Service, that would be Senator DeSteff, Lieutenant Governor Sears, Senator Stewart, Senator Edwards, and myself. Did I miss anybody? No. Well, I just got to tell you, we're really, really proud. They did a great job, and they looked wonderful. So thank you, Madam President.
Chair recognizes Senator Peterson, the senator from Fairfax City.
Thank you, Madam President. Rise for an announcement very briefly.
The senator has the floor.
The Senate Ag and Natural Resources Committee could meet at my desk briefly once we adjourn to refer some bills to finance. Thank you.
Senator Rouse, the junior senator from Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for announcement.
The senator has the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, we have a big game tonight. I want you all to bring your A game, be focused, be safe, and just know, regardless of the outcome, you're still a winner. Thank you, Madam President.
Chair recognizes Senator Locke, the senator from Hampton.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam President. If the Committee on Rules could meet at my desk briefly to refer two bills to the Commerce and Labor Committee.
The clerk will report any announcements on the desk.
In anticipation of Wednesday's announcement of conferees on revenue bills and budget bills, the conferees on House Bill 1400, which is the budget bill, as named by the co-chairs from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations, Senator Howell and Senator Barker. The conferees are Senator Howell, Senator Barker, Senator Saslaw, Senator Normant, Senator Lucas, Senator Hanger, Senator Locke, Senator Newman, and Senator Deeds. Today, Monday, February 13th, 2023, the Committee on Rules will meet immediately upon adjournment at the chair's desk. The Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources will meet immediately upon the adjournment of the Committee on Rules at the chair's desk. The Committee on Commerce and Labor will meet 30 minutes after adjournment in Senate Room A, Pocahontas. The Education and Health Subcommittee on Higher Education will meet 1/2 hour after adjournment in Subcommittee Room 2, 5th floor, Pocahontas. Senators Locke, Peterson, Cosgrove, Hashmi, and Pillion. The Judiciary Subcommittee on Civil Law will meet at 4:00 p.m. in Subcommittee Room 3, 5th floor, Pocahontas. Senators Peterson, Lucas, Stewart, Obenshane, Saslaw, and Boysko. Tomorrow, Tuesday, February 14th, 2023, the Committee on Finance and Appropriations will meet at 9:00 a.m. in Committee Room B, Pocahontas. The Democratic Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 1 in the Capitol. The Republican Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 2 in the Capitol.
Chair calls on Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 12 noon on tomorrow.
The question is, shall the Senate stand adjourned until 12 noon tomorrow? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The Senate stands adjourned until 12 noon tomorrow.